That one's taking pictures.
All right, we're kicking off another YYC Connector here, and we're running live on YYC Calgary Business LinkedIn and Megapix Media YouTube platforms. We are paired up with Wicked Blue Owl Media. My lovely co-host here is Victoria, and her mother Jen own the Wicked Blue Owl Media, and I am Caitlin Bullock. My business partner here, Adam Colazetti. We are co-founders of Venta Solutions, and we also co-own YYC Calgary Business. So we're here today to create really meaningful connections, lift each other up, hopefully get some great value from our speakers who have gone through some stuff. They've seen some stuff, man. No, they've done some amazing things, and we're going to hear some incredible stories today. But first, we're going to start with... Two
truths and a lie.
Two truths and a lie.
Yeah.
And you're on my first list here.
I'm first.
Okay.
All right.
So tell me.
You guys have to guess.
You have to guess.
Yeah.
There's three things here. Okay. One, Victoria has worked in branding for Red Bull, Mercedes-Benz, BMO, and now her passion is to support local businesses making a difference. Victoria Givlin is a triplet. And Victoria Givlin studied criminology, psychology, and law at Carleton University and left while she was on the dean's list, realizing she wanted to pursue another path. Which one?
Heather?
One is a lie.
That is not a lie.
No? Two is a lie. Woo. Victoria is not a triplet. She's a twin. All right. They're all lies. They're lies. All right. You've got some on me.
I do.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. So for Caitlin, these are fun. Caitlin was known as Mad Dog from her engineering peers. She lives in Black Diamond, Alberta. Everything that this lady does is a challenge, and she overcomes it. And she failed her second year in engineering, and the lesson that she learned was that she needs to be an entrepreneur because there's no such thing as failure, and it's just iterating her towards success. Which is the lie? Adam's pondering. That's interesting. Anyone want to take a swing?
Two.
I think two.
I do live in Black
You
Diamond.
do live in
Black
Black
Diamond.
Diamond.
I drive in all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah. She was called Mad Dog.
Yeah, I was called Mad Dog, Bulldog. Yeah, definitely. It is number 3.
Yeah.
It is number 3. I didn't fail my second year. I failed my first year. Just so you know. But it did give me that epiphany that there is no such thing as failure. I did have a fear of failing. That experience taught me so much. And I think as we iterate to success in entrepreneurship and owning businesses, we realize that it's just a matter of, okay, what's next, and keep moving forward, because it really is not failing if you keep trying. So learned a lot. You want to do your mom?
Yeah.
Or we're going to wait?
I think I want to do a couple.
Yeah,
okay.
hit the tips.
Yep. So as this is the leaping into success on our business and our networking.
There you go.
Pirouette. Where's Nelson? Nelson, show us. Neville, sorry. Neville, show us. Show us how to. He's got it on his iPad. Yeah. Okay. A dance lesson for later.
Excellent.
Yes. But we've got some tips on jumping our business into success on the leap year.
Yes.
So welcome to the leap year today. That's exciting. So the first thing is to set clear and defined goals. So be specific, measurable, and achievable, relevant, and smart on being time bound for your business. This will give you a clear direction and purpose so you can see if you're falling off track.
You know, I like that. In the first couple of years, in Adam and I, we'd do these strategy meetings together. And I mean, it was the two of us. That was it. And we would write down these amazing goals and things we wanted to accomplish. And then we'd be like, yeah. And we'd leave the meeting and never look at it again. Right. And so this is where create a detailed plan helps. But you know what? Even just writing those goals down, we'd come back a year later and pull it up and be like, where'd that document go? Pull it up and be like, hey, we did most of this. So write it down. Like, there's power in writing it down, manifesting it. But if you want to take it and leap even further into success, like creating a detailed plan on how you're going to execute that is really the next step, right? So outlining what the strategy is, your target, do that competitive analysis, create a plan on how you're going to get to that end goal that you just wrote down, and regularly review it. Don't hide it like Adam and I did and come back a year later and go, whoops, we made it. Because you really want to be strategically succeeding.
That's great. Okay, so our first speaker today is going to be my mom. So to introduce her, her name is Jen Givlin, and we're going to do truth and a lie here. And quite a few people know her pretty well. So let's see. She has owned an online auction house. She graduated from university with a degree in communications. And she is the division leader with Best Version Media for the Prairies, helping publishers in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta. Which one? Neville? Number two. Yes, she graduated from the University of Waterloo in Ontario with a degree in English, not communications. So without further ado, Jen is talking to us about motivation and mindset. And I can tell you, I mean, I'm a reflection. I've learned a lot from her. So hopefully there's some tips that you guys can also absorb from her too.
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, ladies. Thanks, everybody, for coming out in this fun weather tonight. I really appreciate it. Mindset and motivation. Well, what the heck? I can read you 10 tips that you can do and you can write them down and check them off, right? No, that's not going to happen tonight. Tonight, I'm going to share a little story with you that hopefully resonates with getting motivated, because part of my job is to motivate 40 to 50 people every day to get out, sell. Can you imagine? That's my job. I get to help people decide that they need to get out of their own way to make their own career successful every morning. It's a fun job. I love the job. I give back a fair bit, but you have to check in with yourself on a regular basis to find out what's stopping you from your success. So earlier this year, in May of 2023, I did something I didn't want to do. I went to the doctor's office because my husband had been nagging me for a little bit about this leg that I have that seems to be a little numb on the one side. And I'm like, it's fine. Look, I'm still walking. It's fine. I can still walk the dogs. We have 4 animals at the house. I'm fine. It's like, yeah, you're fine. All right. Get to the doctor. So I did. And we had a tough year at our house in 2023. My father, and you can see where we get this from, my father decided in his infinite wisdom when he was coming back from Mexico, they were down there for 6 weeks, and he decided that he was fine, and my mother couldn't drive the car because she needed cataract surgery, that he was going to drive from Arizona back to Penticton. And when he got halfway home, he was just in Las Vegas. He didn't feel so great. Now, he has out-of-country medical insurance. He could have gone to a doctor. No. Not my dad. My dad decides to get in the car and drive the rest of the way back to Penticton and just goes, I wonder why I'm not breathing well. Well, maybe it's my asthma. And I'm like, you don't have asthma since you moved to BC, Dad. So he phones me, and I said to him, so what are you going to do, Dad? And Dad goes, I'm going to see the family doctor on Monday. I went, that's great, but you're not breathing properly. It's Saturday morning. I'm thinking you might want to go to the doctor. No, I'm going Monday. That's fine. I'll be over this afternoon. I live here in Calgary. And he said, you can't drive through the mountain pass in March. I went, watch me. You betcha I can, because you're going to go to the hospital. So either you go now and just call me and let me know you're there, or I will come and get you. It's motivating to have somebody say that to you. If you love them, and if they love you back, they're a little terrified that you might actually put your own safety at risk. Well, he went to the hospital. He didn't come back out. He didn't come back for 2 weeks. The man went into the hospital and was told, oh, you had a cardiac incident when you were in Vegas. You've had a heart attack and you can't breathe because your heart's not working. And I went, well, thank the Lord he's still alive. I know he's going to be okay because he's still talking to me. But they also said to him, and you have heart problems. I went, I wonder what that's all about. They said, oh, I think we'll do a little surgery on you, Wayne. We'll just do a little bit of a stint. You should be fine. We'll just put that balloon in and move things around. No, 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 no. Not my dad. My dad needed 7 bypasses and a valve replaced. That's my dad. So I wasn't talking too much about what was going on with my leg to my dad because 2 things in my mind. I don't want to kill him. That's not motivating. That's demotivating for me and certainly demotivating for him because I'm thinking, if I tell him my leg's not working right, he's going to be a little upset. That is not going to help his recovery. So I thought, we're not going to say anything about it. So life being life, you go in for an MRI and you get the results. And it's funny, if you go in for an MRI at 10 o'clock at night and they're calling you at 8 o'clock the next morning, they're probably not telling you everything is hunky-dory and have a great day. This was the long weekend rolling into May. I was going to see my dad for the first time since I heard he had open heart surgery because we had been doing all those really great things, staying away because I get in front of people all the time. I didn't want to make him sick. I wanted to make sure he had lots of time to recover. I'm not getting anywhere near him. He had the surgery, the Ides of March 15th. I thought, okay, we have medical clearance for me to go and see him the May long weekend. This is fantastic. I'm going to go see my dad. They want to tell me the Friday morning before I'm going to see my dad what's wrong with my leg. I'm like, no, thank you. And the doctor said to me, what is your problem? And I said, if I don't know, then I don't have to lie. I can't go to my dad and lie. Like, what am I going to say to him? Hey, kid, how you doing? Fine. He'll know right off the bat. I mean, I'm his kid, so he's going to know. So I said, I will see you Tuesday. I saw them Tuesday. I didn't like what they had to say to me on Tuesday, and I don't react to information the same way most other people do, apparently, because the poor doctor who's giving me the information is watching my reaction. And he said, so you have herniated discs between L1 and S1 all the way down your back. And the reason why your leg hurts is you have spinal cord stenosis, which means you've got some narrowing through your spinal cord. And so his final comment to me was, it's not if you're in the wheelchair, it's when you're in the wheelchair. And I looked down and went, thanks. And he said, pardon? I said, thanks. We'll talk about that when I'm 95. When I'm 95, we can talk about a wheelchair in my life. That's when we can talk about it. And he looked at me and went, did you understand what I said? I said, I heard all of it. Let me repeat it back to you. I have this narrowing in my spine. It's going to cause some pressure on my spinal cord. That's why my right leg is numb. And I have all these herniated discs opposite sides. So I'm like, a little bit of a xylophone. He goes, yep. And I went, okay, great. Thanks. Have a great day. And he looked at me and said, where are you going? Because I'm by myself. And I said, I got to go to work. I got to go to work. Because for me, the only way I know how to survive is I got to go to work. And I hopped out my car and I made a phone call, which is so unfair. And I do this to my spouse on a regular basis. We've been married, it'll be 34 years this year. And the poor man, I always call him with this information. I called him when I found out I was pregnant and wasn't expecting to be pregnant. I called him with this back issue. Hey, you know what? Doc says it's not when I'm in a wheelchair. It's not if I'm in a wheelchair. It's when I'm in a wheelchair. Okay, have a great day. Bye. The poor man. He is not me. He is such a mellow dude. He's like, he calls me right back and says, pardon me, can you repeat that? And I said, sure. He goes, we need a second opinion. I went, okay. I said, we'll go. You want to come with me? He goes, yes, I do. So he does. He comes back. We make an appointment. We go back the next week. I said to the doctor, different doctor this time. Hey, let me see if I can summarize what I understood the last time. And my husband has questions. Okay. So I summarize, and the doctor goes, yep. And my husband looks at her and goes, pardon? Like, did you hear what she just said? Yes, I did. And what are we going to do with this? And I don't know about you guys, but we had 2 choices. And I didn't know the impacts of my choices when I was making them. I just went, I got to go to work. Now, yes, that is a self-protection situation, but I had to go to work. Because I had to figure out how I was going to handle this. Because I can handle all this nugget. This was a big nugget. I didn't know what to do with myself. What I didn't recognize is when we make these choices to motivate and self-motivate and pick our pick yourselves up by the bootstraps, that the people around you who can't impact your life, but who love you, are very much impacted by what's happening. Why do I share this story? I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I don't. But every day you choose how you're going to motivate yourself and why you want to motivate yourself. And what I tell people is I believe in them every morning. I believe they're doing the right thing, and I believe they're doing a good job. I do not believe in North America that there are people who get up in the morning with the thought of hurting someone else. I don't believe they get up with a thought in the morning of really trying to hurt themselves. What I do believe is that sometimes they forget that the choices that they're making for their motivation or lack thereof impact all the rest of the people around them who love them. So if you can't find a way to motivate yourself sometimes, that's okay. But if you could put a little sticky note somewhere in your life, or a photo of something that's important to you, somewhere that you see first thing in the morning, if you can't motivate yourself, can you at least try motivating yourself for them? If you do it often enough, it's not fake it till you make it. It's fake it till you become it. You will figure it out. And then you won't need that photo, that note, that reminder every day of why you're doing what you do. It'll just become part of who you are. That's all I got tonight, guys. Thank you.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, I knew this, but
I didn't know this.
I know. So
News to me.
news to most of us. She keeps that wall up for most. So yeah, I hope
Thank you
that.
for opening up.
Yes, and
That's
for
pretty
sharing
cool.
that. That's
Yeah.
that's very vulnerable. But yes, fake it until you become it.
Fake it till you become it.
You know,
And if you don't have a sticky note, just call up Jen. She'll motivate you.
that's true. It's true.
Every conversation with you is a motivation.
Yeah, you can do it. Just like Shia LaBeouf, you can do it.
Right?
That's mom, just the female version. Yes, you can do it.
Well, and we all know Jen with Blue Owl Media. You say to me, and you just said this to me like 5 minutes ago, I can bring them to your doorstep, but it's what you do with them afterwards that's going to make a difference, right? Like I can just get them to your doorstep. And that brings us to point 3, which focus on customer satisfaction, right? Prioritize the excellence that you bring. Until we say take it to 11, if anybody's seen Spinal Tap. So, but like, what is your customer experience, right? What journey do you take them on? And have that be something that sets you aside in the market. Jen will get them to your door. You decide what happens after that. And they don't just become a customer, they become a recurring customer at that point when it's so good that they can never leave you. And that's point number 3. Point number 4.
Point number 4 is embracing innovation. So we want to stay ahead of the industry trends and incorporate innovative ideas into the business. Be open to adopting new technologies and methodologies that can enhance efficiency and productivity. Caitlin's an excellent example of that. So she works with the Canadian Digital Adoption Program, because in the last couple of years, as we all know, what happened? And a lot of businesses had to adopt to being technologically innovative. So we need to keep moving with the times. We need to hold. This is what I actually love about Calgary and Alberta whenever anyone asks me, because I'm from Ontario, moved here just a year ago. Like Calgary, Alberta has these really deep, traditional, strong roots, but they're willing to innovate at the same time. They don't lose who they are, but they're willing to evolve and adapt and grow as they go. And I just adore everything about that. You stand so true in your values and you can't be shaken from that, but willing to grow and evolve as it happens. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So the digital adoption grant, if any of you haven't heard of it, there's still the $2,500 one left over that you can apply for the government, and they will help you to build a social media strategy, a marketing strategy. The money can go towards optimizing your website, all different stuff like that. Might as well capitalize on what you can get from the government. It only is going to go for 1 year. How many people are using AI yet? Yeah, we got innovators here. Good. Definitely keep that up. And then we're going to introduce our next speaker.
All right, so next up we have Peter, bit of our surprise guest, and he's going to be talking all about creativity and how to tap into it. Peter is a photographer. He's also my feature family photographer for my publications in Aspen Woods, Bears Paw, and Altador. He's fantastic if you need business or family shots. Little promo over to Peter. He's great. Love that guy. Anyway, 2 truths and a lie for Peter. So, number 1, he was the first person from the University of Lethbridge from the arts to work for a newspaper. He is a camp counselor for Girl Guides, and he moved to Canada when he was 3 from Poland.
Oh, I know this one.
Guesses? Do, 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 do. No?
So he's a girl guy.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, no Girl Guides here, but he is a scout counselor,
Yes.
right? Actually, putting the 2s up is actually accurate if you're in the scouts, right?
Is it?
Right? It still is. It was one. So, yeah.
Okay.
Peace and love.
Right.
Peace and love.
Got it.
Okay, so Peter, if you want to come up here and tell us about how to tap into creativity, the floor is yours.
Give Peter a round of applause.
I can't clap with the microphone. Someone has to teach me how to clap.
I need to use the mic.
You don't need to use the microphone if you don't
I'm
want to.
loud enough.
Okay.
Turn it
Like
off.
everyone says inside voice. Inside voice. So I'll try not to use my inside voice. So tapping into creativity. We live in a visual world. We know that. But most people take it for granted. Mainly because of this thing. It's an amazing tool. It connects us. Like the power that is in this compared to when I was a kid, like my daughter has a phone and it's like the stuff she can do with this is incredible compared to what I had at her age, which was not longer ago. I mean, the gray hair was showing, but it's still about communicating visually. Now, I use this. This is my tool, but the majority of you have this, which is fine. So I'm gonna put this one down because most of you don't need that. Use this, and that's fine. Tapping into creativity means what inspires you, what inspires your customers, and what story are you trying to tell? Now, there's a couple so there's 2 schools of thought. There's the concept side, which is we can get into it really deep, but that's we don't have that much time. There's the practical stuff, which is okay for your phone. If you see it's got 3 lenses on it, some of you have 4. There's a reason for that. Just like my big camera, I have multiple lenses. It gives you a different look when you utilize those lenses. So if you open your camera app, so I want you to open up your camera apps right now on your phone.
There it
Yeah. So on the bottom, like with mine, I have 3 choices. I have here 0.5, 1, or 2. Basically, wide angle, regular, or zoom lens. Don't use the wide angle. It doesn't make anything flattering, trust me. It will add, probably 20 to 30 pounds, not take off. So do not use wide angle. You do want to use number 1 or the 2 times, the zoom lens. The zoom lens will actually make things look more slender. When you're taking a photo of a group of people, use the tighter lens. So, in my case, it's of the 2. Use that one. And also, if you're doing a group photo, say you have a Victoria, I need a volunteer. I need a volunteer from the crowd.
is. Go, Jen, go.
Okay, so come on up. Oh, we're getting a photo done here. This is the default. Everyone goes right up against the wall. Don't do that. Let's step away from the wall. Now, if you use your phone on the longer lens,
Yeah.
you get separation
Yes.
from the background to your subject. Again, that makes your photo more interesting. It makes your viewer want to go, ooh, that actually is a good photo. I want to look at that. So if you take that extra little step with your pictures and all your communications, you will get that much more from that quick snap. Now, there's certain things when you're doing a selfie, you never want to use the double chin. Because we have a nasty habit of, okay, I'm going to do a selfie and it's going to look like that and I see my nose. No, what you want to do is extend it as much out as humanly possible if you can. Now, The other trick is, yes, you can take the picture with the button, but you can also take the picture using the volume tabs on your phone, which means your finger is not going to be in the way of the photo. So we're going to do a group selfie right now with, that's a bigger crowd. And I want to take it with using the volume button. Just that extra little step so you don't have to try to monkey with the regular button. It instantly makes your photos that much clearer because you're not shaking the camera so much. Now, let's talk about the story aspect of the photo. What are you trying to communicate to your customers? Now, the biggest thing that most people forget is the photo that you're taking, it's not for you. It's for your viewer. It's for whoever's seeing it, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your mom, or whether it's your customer. That's who you're taking the picture for. You're rarely taking it for yourself because, I mean, I love all the pictures, but I don't take them for me. I take them for you. And the joy I see in your face when you see them. So, and that's the experience that your viewers have when they see your photos, your videos. They actually go, oh, that's really cool. That's an amazing video that Caitlin posted. Or you know, who here does any kind of videos? Raise your hand. Okay, who takes selfies? Raise your hand. Pretty much everybody. The people you're sharing them with, they want to see them. That's why social media was created, because they want to see them. Now, if we slow down just a little bit, that's the biggest misnomer in terms of visual communications is you got to get it done really fast. Let's slow down a little bit and think about what we're communicating, how we're communicating to our audience. And once we slow down that little bit, the results are amazing because you will take that extra step. Okay, let's step away from the wall and get the photo. And especially if there's a logo on the wall, when you're up here, the logo is like right there, you can barely see it. But if you step away from the wall, instantly that creates separation. It drops the logo usually down from a perspective viewpoint, and you can see it better. And now you're telling a more complete story to your viewer with your photos. So yeah, that's what I had. I was thrown in on this, so I can keep going. If there's any questions, I can quickly answer some misnomers or, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Or I can just stop talking to you.
What about lighting?
Lighting.
Lighting is huge.
It is. It is huge. I love even light. I'm a huge fan of open shade or cloudy days. Anyone who's, so I used to shoot a bunch of weddings. Still do every now and then, but not quite. I hated blue sky. Blue sky is, it looks great for a landscape photo, but when you're trying to take pictures of people, blue sky is your enemy because you get shadows, everybody's squinting. It's just, it's not pleasant. You want open shade. So if you're taking a photo anywhere, you want to find even light. You don't, if you see shadows, like this is nice, even light. Because you don't, I mean, there's some shadows, but it's not too bad. The worst thing is if I stand right under here, I could probably see some bags under my eyes right now. That's because it's very direct light. You want indirect light, soft light. And that will make your photos better. If you're doing food photos, use the zoom function because you can actually step back a bit and not get the shadow of your camera over your amazing plate of food.
Brilliant.
So, yeah.
You don't see the little rectangle on.
Yeah, exactly. Don't get the rectangle and just, again, there's a reason why all those lenses are on your phones. It's because it gives you a different perspective with each one.
Thank you.
Oh.
Woo! Yeehaw. All right.
Yeehaw.
Did I? Oh, I got it.
You got
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And just in case you haven't seen, there are some special offers from Piotr, Peter, our photographer here. So if you do need updated headshots, go see him. He's incredible. You'll do a great job. He's going to take you on a whole journey and wicked offer only for the people who are here. So sorry for those of you who are watching online. You got to be here. Maybe if you messaged him. Maybe reach out to Peter. Okay, we're gonna take a 15-minute networking break. Get going. Get some more food. We had some new joiners come in while you guys were talking. Get moving, and then we're gonna come back for our last two speakers, and they've got some really amazing stories for you. So looking forward to the next half.
cashew,
Sweet, I'm an
but
M&M.
together, it's
Winning.
fantastic. I love the M&M commercials too. You know, like those are just great. They do this.
Speaking of commercials,
Mm-hmm.
tip, invest in marketing.
Oh,
Hey.
if you want to leap success into your business, you have to market yourselves, my friends.
And so we have Bentley at the back, marketing strategist right there. You've got all the people in this room who can help support you in your marketing. You have Jen, who's going to get you onto the magazines and out into your digital ads. You've got YYC, get you visible on a media platform, have a podcast, have your own show, whatever it is, be a guest. You've got Enta Solutions, social media. Do we have any other marketing experts in here?
Peter falls under that category.
Peter's
Yes.
marketing exit brand. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so get that honed in, right? Because you can't, I love this. Heather used to say this, our friend Heather. She would say, you cannot be a success and a secret at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
And tip number 6.
Build a strong team, which is what we're focusing on here. Surround yourself with the people that are going to genuinely lift each other up and lift you up along your way. Not going to tear you down or anything. Just how can I genuinely show up for you and how can I support you? Humans are best when we're in communities and we communicate with one another. So get on your teams, show up for one another, be accountable to each other.
Yeah, and I think it's really important as entrepreneurs and business owners to know when you're not working in your sweet spot and to find that person who can support that and be able to say, yeah, it's time for me to find the right person, not try to figure it out myself. It's the who, not the how, right? So next up, we have Marlo, and we're going to play another game of Two Truths and a Lie.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Okay. So Marlo Marshall, he's talking to us about personalization and versatility. So yes, I grabbed some social media stuff and I went digging. Two truths and a lie. He was the manager at a Popeye Supplements and then transitioned to manage Michael Hill until choosing to open his own jewelry business, Marlo Design, in 2015. He creates custom jewelry with virtual software and can print it on for you for 3D printing for you to try before you buy. And he's an advocate for ethically sourced diamonds with meticulous craftsmanship, ethical sourcing, and exceptional quality. Which one is our lie? That is not a lie. That is very true. Marlo was a manager at GNC, not Popeyes. Competitor. Yes. Okay. So without further ado, here is Marlo.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Thanks for the invite. By the way, this is actually the first time in 10 years that I've spoken publicly. So if it goes poorly, feel free to throw things or yell or boo, by all means. That I'm good for the negative reinforcement. Yeah, so basically a personalization and versatility, as she was asking me to chat about. I think a lot of people equate that to having more options. And in my personal experience, I think it happens to be more equated to having a true, authentic human experience. So whenever you work with any types of aspects of your business, a lot of people think of how many options can I give to my clients? How many things can I show them to wow them with? But really, I think you have to work backwards from having that human experience first and foremost, especially nowadays with the AI, online, all these crazy things that are coming out super fast, a mile a minute. You have to be able to know, how can I have that human experience first and work backwards from that? To give you kind of an idea of where I come from on that side. So as she mentioned, I've been in retail since I was about 13 years old. I've worked in that kind of customer service kind of mindset. Never been really much of a selly kind of guy. I've never been a guy to try to push something down your throat or say that this, oh, you really want this, or try to convince people to buy something that it didn't make a lot of sense to them. I've always been more of a facilitator. So more, I feel like, as a conduit to the final piece or the final product, whatever it might be, I'm the best conduit to get there and make that person truly find what they want. That translated really well when I went into the jewelry industry. I spent hours and hours with goldsmiths, manufacturers, diamond cutters, every facet of the industry to really know how the quote unquote, I say this, how the sausage gets made. But in turn, that gave me that kind of custom feeling to it, is that once you see the meticulous craftsmanship that goes into the piece, you see the hours the goldsmiths sit down and take this tiny little piece and make a work of art out of it, that you find that appreciation for, like, why is this ring $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $20,000? When you see the actual work and the time that goes into making this tiny little piece, that necessarily, I would say it's the most, where it's the most amount of work put into the smallest piece, and then makes that most amount of result from it. So that when you see that, I did fall in love with the custom side of the business. So I fell in love with, my creative mind. I was in drama the whole thing when I was in school, so I found that was a great way for me to have a creative outlet through jewelry, to be able to take someone's vision, put it through that. Like, I'd have constantly clients coming in like, I like that piece, but can I change that? Can I tweak that? And with the more restrictive retail model, they've invested millions of dollars in what they've got in the case. So it makes sense they want to sell it, but it never felt right with me to have to push something that was in the case that just wasn't quite right, wasn't quite the perfect piece there. In the end, every time I'd send a bag out the door, I was just shaving off a little bit of my soul and putting it in the bag and sending it out with them, right? So at some point in time, I felt that in order for me to truly be facilitative to my clients and the people that was working with me, I had to bring personalization, versatility, and go off on my own. To be honest, I didn't even know what the business, I had no idea it'd be where we're at here today. I thought it was just going to be me helping a few clients work, try to get an idea. I knew for sure there was a few key things to create that human experience that in my soul had to make sense for that business. And that was, that human experience comes backwards for restyling. That's one of the most important things I had to have when I started the business, is that I would constantly hear stories of customers who have jewelry at their home. They have so many stories sitting behind closed doors that, they don't wear it anymore because it's not their style. They always have to buy something new at somewhere brand at a different store. So that was something that's important to me, is that you have to be able to bring that story along. You have to continue the heirloom pieces. Yeah, you've told that story. There's no reason to not continue telling that story generation and generation to come. So that's something that was important for me to have. And then in turn, the personalization and versatility came down to how can we best tweak something to make it a little bit more like the client's true story being told? How can we get it a bit more that, so for example, personalization, family rings, that's a big fan for a lot of people, is changing gemstones out, setting them for birth months of family members, mothers, daughters, brothers, sisters. Every aspect of the family can be shown up on that ring as well. So I wanted to make that as convenient as possible. So I basically set up a system where customers could choose those and still personalize an existing piece, but make it their own in some way. And then it came through repairs and restyles, repairs and refreshing a piece. So sometimes they have a piece that it just needs to add a little bit of gold, get a little bit of love, get it looking brand new, so that a repair in turn can absolutely breathe new life into that piece again without having to do a completely brand new design. So the reason why I say that these basically having this human experience working backwards from that, the reason why I say that how it can work better in your guys' business is not necessarily that, you have to avoid AI or you have to avoid all these things. You have to be entirely more human. It has to be more about how can you in turn make a more human experience for your team, for your for your team, and also for your customers as well. So for example, I like to kind of workshop it on live right now to see how we can make a human experience for one of your guys' businesses. So if one of you guys want to volunteer, how we can kind of workshop to see how we can use a human experience to make that much more effective for your guys' business. I don't know if somebody wants to volunteer. Anybody? Yeah, you. So what type of work do you do?
We do culture and engagement consulting.
Culture engagement consulting there. So that's so how to basically make a brand, or how to
it's like team building, business improvement, just trying to make workspaces where people are happy to be there.
And so when you start, how do you find that you make a more human experience for that particular job?
We get people to start sharing things about themselves that their coworkers don't necessarily know.
Mm-hmm. And so do you think that by creating that more people, being more dynamic, people chatting to each other, learning a little bit more about their colleagues there, they can better serve their customers that way by knowing more about the people around them?
Exactly. If you can view your colleague or your client or your supplier or whatever as a human being and not just a work unit, you will engage with them more. It creates more space for creativity. It just fosters that human connection.
That's awesome. Yeah, so I would challenge everyone here to try to think of 3 ideas at their business to be able to create a more human experience, and then work backwards from there. Another example too is that if you are bringing AI into your business, if your AI is then making you have more time for yourself, more freeing up some of the busy work that you do, then you can spend more time learning about your employees, learning more time about, hey, how is little Billy doing? I heard he hurt himself at soccer the other day. Like what is it that you can in turn learn more about the people around you and your clients and make it a better experience overall? And that's all I got.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, it's a huge component to how AI, like cell phones, are a tool. They are just a part of your toolkit. It should not control everything, but once we figure out how to use it and optimize it, then we can make better teams.
Yes.
Wow, that was
Hey,
shocking. Hey.
We're electric, babe.
Amazing.
I really like that, Marla, what you said. It was just like sparked an idea of like our journey when we do a workshop. Like you sell it, you close it, you do the workshop, then we do like a 30, 60, 90 follow-up to try to like meet with them and help support them that it's implemented. But what can we do in between that 30, 60, 90? Like what can we do to make so we're still supporting them that whole way? And so we were talking earlier about taking like videos from like movies and like finding the leadership gems in movies. We should do like little clips where we talk about it and send it out to our clients. So it's like they can share it to their teams and keep it going. I think that'd be cool. So you gave me a brainchild. It's awesome. So what's our next tip? Oh, this should be number 1, manage finances. How many people look at their P&L statements monthly?
Do they know what P&L is?
Profit loss? Yeah, that and setting a budget, like that's been critical for me this year. And unfortunately for Adam, who used to do it, I got involved this year because I had to through the EO Grow program, which is an amazing program for scaling businesses. Yeah, I got a lot of insight on what that means, because at the end of the day, if you have no money, right, there's no business. So managing those finances is key. And then what you're doing here today,
networking and collaborating. Okay, so one of my favorite sayings that someone mentioned about networking is that the work starts with networking when? After this event. Now that you've gotten together and you've made some friends, that's fantastic. And I'm super happy about that. But like Marlo said, let's work backwards. Let's work on that human experience. Grab a coffee with them. Go to their office, go see what their environment and what their attitude and what their beliefs are. Go support them and see how you can figure out what you can do to make their day a little bit better. And remember that they are also human too.
yeah,
Amazing. Okay, so evaluate and learn as well.
yes, continuous improvement or strategic improvement, as I like to say, but always have that check-in and say, how can I get better? And I think that's also kind of what Marlo was saying, is like, keep thinking about it, keep iterating to success and finding that like that next step that makes it a little bit better of an experience for your client within your business processes. If you're documenting those, ton of fun. Keep evaluating how it's working. Is it working? And then make it better. And if you need help with business processes, we have Yvonne. She can help you with that. She does operations. She understands how the business should work, all of that stuff. So reach out to her about that stuff. Keep evaluating, keep getting better. Next speaker we have.
Yes. Next, we have Terza Adrian. So I'm super excited. Let's play 2 truths and a lie with Terza. So she has worked for many years. She was a paramedic before taking the leap of faith and launching Zwapify on October 8th in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic. She's been married since May 18th in 2019. And she participated in the cold plunge ice bath challenge for 365 days. Which one's the lie?
Second one.
Second one. Yeah. So she's been married since May 18th, 2018, not 2019.
So you want to talk about bravery. This girl did the ice cold plunge challenge, 365 days on TikTok. Yeah, fearless. I love it. Come on up here. Amazing story from Terza.
Thank you. She's mostly right. I'm at day 350 today. So, so close. Anyway, so I have an incredible story that I've been waiting weeks to be able to share, and you are the first group that gets to hear it. So I'm pretty lucky. I need to set a little bit of a foundation. It will all make sense in the end, I promise. So just bear with me for a moment. So when I was a little kid, we had a secret family code word that my dad, Papa, who we called him Papa, had set up for us for our safety. If we ever needed to call him for anything or were uncomfortable, we could call and say this code word and he would come and get us. Or if he had to send a stranger, he would send them with the code word so that we would know it was actually from our dad. Fast forward 25 years, my older brother Matthew and I were spending the night with our dad in the palliative room at the Lacombe Hospital on September 15th. They'd called us in 15 days prior, and we'd been sitting there for 15 days waiting for him to let go and stop suffering. I woke up at 5 a.m. and his breathing had changed. So I called the nurse and they said it was quite normal for that stage of life. So I decided not to call my mom because I had also stayed the night before and called her then on a false alarm. And so I decided not to call her. I rubbed his chest and said, "I love you," and went back to sleep. And an hour later, I woke up to my brother standing over me and Papa was gone. So that was a Friday. And I managed to make it through the weekend somehow and had some alone time on Monday. So I drove out to our favorite hunting place. It's on a hill overlooking a lake. It's gorgeous. And I lost it. And if you've ever lost someone close to you, you know what I'm talking about. It's not pretty. Later that day, I sent a message to a friend and I said, "This hurts so much. I don't know how I'm going to get through this." She sent me a message later that I will never forget. She said, "I have a really strange question to ask you. It's probably the strangest question you'll ever get. Do the words Pink Panther mean anything to you?" I just about dropped my phone. Those were the code words that no one knew. She'd sat down and was thinking of me, wondering what to say to comfort me. And somehow she heard the words, "Pink Panther, tell her about Pink Panther." I can't fully explain it, but it happened and it's changed my life and gave me so much comfort in that moment. So besides being a mind-blowing story, there's a point to all of this. My business is Swapify, as Caitlin mentioned. It's a swapping app that I launched August 31st of last year after working towards that point for about 2 years. So I was beyond excited to finally reach that moment, and people were so excited to finally use the app. It went really well, but a couple of months into having it launched, I realized very quickly I would need to put a whole lot more money into it to make it function and scale the way that I wanted it to. I had already quit my job as a paramedic, even gave up my license because I was all in on this thing and not going back. My husband was working 80 to 100 hours a week on the ambulance as well. And in that moment, I felt very overwhelmed. It was the beginning of November, and I sat on my bathroom floor and cried and said, "Pink Panther, Papa. Pink Panther, I need help. I don't know what direction to go. I don't know what to do. Show me how to grow my business." A few days later, a complete stranger slid into my DMs. He said, "Hey, I'm John from Barter Pay. I've seen what you're doing. I want to know if you'd like to talk about collaborating." So John is the owner of Barter Pay, which is Canada's largest business-to-business bartering network. He's been doing this for 27 years, and he wanted to work with me. I say all of that to finally be able to announce that my company, Swapify, is participating in the most phenomenal bartering experience. I am trading my company for a portion of Barter Pay. Yeah, very nice. So what he is doing with his business blows me away. The level that he is operating at, the way it functions, his systems, it was where I wanted to be in 10 to 15 years. So I am blown away. So since we're all at a networking event, as Caitlin has mentioned several times in Victoria, it's not about coming here for a sale. It's about a network. And I encourage you, next time you're having a sit on the bathroom floor moment, make sure you Pink Panther someone. Ask for help. We're not here to make a sale. We're here to grow our community, to grow that network. That net is going to catch you one day when you need help. Lastly, during one of the meetings that I had with John, I stood back and looked at him for a moment and said, if we do this, you do realize how incredible of a story it's going to be, don't you? And without him knowing what I just told you, I had to hold back tears as he said, yeah, it's like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, that'll get you. Great story. Thank you so much for sharing. And I can't iterate enough how important it is to have this network. This is why we're doing what we do. It is to really build that safety net, to build that we grow together aspect and support one another. And it really comes along to, and I think this speaks to it, is adapting to change, right? That's business tip number 8, adapt to the changes that are coming in. Tirsa, you went through some amazing changes just recently in your business, having probably one of the biggest swaps ever done, and leveling up your business where you thought you would be 15 years from now. You did that in a year from launch. Like, way to go, man. That's amazing. That's success right there. And so adapting to change when those opportunities come, being nimble, seeing those opportunities. When a door closes, seeing one that opens, right? Turn around. It's the open doors behind you. Stop looking at the one that just closed in front of you, right? So definitely adapting to change.
All right, yeah. So a big one that we have in here as well to leap into success is to remember, as Tirsa gave a great example to, you have to take care of yourself. You cannot pour into anyone's glass if yours is empty. And a lot of women, a lot of Canadians were fantastic at giving and giving and giving and giving and giving to everybody, and then wondering why we're burnt out, we're exhausted, and we're spent and we're on the floor. Please, even if it's 5 minutes a day, give yourself that moment where you can show yourself some love. That will be different for everyone.
Right?
A dance party in your room, or maybe it's doing yoga, or maybe it's meditating or journaling or screaming at the top of a mountain. Whatever that is, please show yourself some love.
Absolutely. And lastly, how many people hustle all year long and forget to look behind them to see how far they've come? Yeah, big time. So celebrate your successes and do this in a way that's a ritual. Go home tonight and write down, what am I going to do when I celebrate a success? The little ones. What will I do to celebrate the little ones? Start celebrating the little ones. And then what are you going to do when the big one hits? Right? When your big level up hits, what are you going to do to celebrate? Have that plan. Know how you're going to celebrate. Include your family in it. But make it happen. And I think Donna Dahl is an author here in Calgary, and she wrote about that, knowing how to celebrate your successes. And so her book, What I Learned from the Tortoise, amazing book, read it. But that's one of the key things that I took away is I wasn't celebrating my successes. I forgot. And man, we've done a lot, right, Adam? We have done so much. So hopefully you've enjoyed today. You've learned some things. You've heard from your fellow peers and colleagues. If you ever want your business featured and you want to come up here and speak, you reach out to us and talk to us, get it put on the list. We love being able to highlight businesses. You get a business video sizzle reel done. You get headshots done from Peter, and you get promoted on the YYC Calgary Business Platform. We are truly about lifting each other up. So thank you so much for coming. Eat some more food, network, and we're going to see you next month at a brewery.
Evil Brewery.
Evil Brewery.
Yes, thank you so much for coming. And like I said last month, a rising tide lifts all ships. So that's what we're here for.
Let's go.
All going to ride it. Let's go.
Yay.
Thank you.